like to start off with where we left off at, but unfortunately we got to start all over.
Which I'm like the last person to do things over again.
Yeah.
I hate going backwards. I hate starting over.
But anyway, Vincent Cauley.
Hi.
My man.
What's happening?
How you doing, bro?
Good. How you feeling?
I'm good. Nice to see you again. Had you on the podcast twice. Actually, 3 times. But
It
one
was.
last episode kind of like... the footage was really blurry, so we have to like stop that and re-record. But it was a great interview.
It was a great interview. It was a good time.
Yeah, let's see if we can bring that energy back, which I'm pretty sure we have no problem with, because every conversation you and I had thus far that was recorded has been about just objectively politics, Niagara Falls. We've never dug into who is Vincent Cauley. And I want to take this time to really divulge information about who are you. So let's start. I think people know you by now. You've been on the podcast 2.5 times. But let's start with, who is Vincent Cauley?
So the best way I can start, let's go all the way. Let's just start at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Where I come from, how we got here, and we'll just launch off of that.
Let's do it.
So obviously born and raised in Niagara Falls, single mom. I grew up with 4 brothers and a sister. And then later in life, I found out I had another sister and 2 other brothers. And we just had just a typical family. I mean, I was, Jay-Z said I was spending hundreds since they had small faces. I was spending money when they had different colors, if you know what I'm saying. You had the green dollar bill.
Right. We're not talking about Monopoly.
Was that not talking about Monopoly or the game of life? We're talking about food stamps.
Right.
So spent those.
Right, I've been there. Spent
those. So we're just a typical family and city family in Niagara Falls. I had a mom who held it down. She had 5 boys and 1 girl. She laid down the law as a single mom. Father's Day and Mother's Day were the same. Dad just wasn't around. He was doing his own thing, trying to get his life together. And and who was I in high school? I was that kid that mostly hung out by myself, but I was involved in all these other groups: band, track, football. I did basketball for Biddy at the old center and new center. Shout out to Coach Juan and Coach Eric. They cut my teeth on basketball in the Biddy League. I did what I took care of home. I helped with home. I have a brother who has cerebral palsy. Yeah.
Sorry. What is cut your teeth? Anybody who knows Vincent, he has like these old slangs. Like he uses these old slangs. I'm like, what does that mean? What does cut your teeth mean?
So when you got to get started in basketball, you got to get started with any subject. Start with anything. And basketball was one of those things. I started at the center. So just going through the skills, learning the drills, learning what it means to play basketball.
Being introduced to it.
Yeah, learning, growing up on it, being winged on it. So yeah.
Okay. Now you see a brother with cerebral palsy.
Yeah.
How was that?
So he's 4 years younger than me. My mom made a big sacrifice not putting him in any homes. He lives with her right now.
Nice.
And I help out with him, being his nurse, change diapers, bathing, washing, all that stuff. So he goes to a day hab now, praise God. But yeah, so it's been a big deal with him. So he still lives with my mom. Yeah.
So this is all in high school.
All in high school, grade school, middle school, yeah.
And then, so who was Vincent in high school? Like, you say he was a loner, and you played all these sports and you was in these bands and things of that nature. What were you really passionate about?
So let's
talk about scholastically what he was passionate about, and then let's talk about like sports wise.
For sure, scholastically, I love math, love science, love history. Period. If anybody want to see how much of a nerd I was, there's a textbook called E Pluribus Unum. It's called Out of Many One. The size font was like 8, so small, but this was over 1,000 pages. I read it from cover to cover.
Get out of here.
No kid. I mean, I still got the book at home. Actually, I still got.
What is it called?
Book. It's called E Pluribus Unum. It's one of our textbooks in school, and I kept it. I read it from cover to cover, took notes on it. I love history. I love learning. And the thing about history is, I love learning about how we got here based on what happened. So study history, love the government, love political science, love how government works, the inner workings, loved about thinking, philosophy, thought, because a lot of the people who founded this country, they were a lot of philosophers. So they just always what people think, why people think it, how people think it. So yeah,
Right.
for sure.
Love that. Yeah, a lot of synchronization.
Yep.
Damn it. I always count how many times I dropped the pen. That's the first one.
Fumblerooski.
A lot of synchronizations. I love science when I was a kid. Math, trash. History, I just was so bored with American history when I was a kid. I found like world history, like Chinese, Japanese history, far more interesting than the U.S. But now as an adult, bro, I love the U.S. history. I study it indefatigably. But yeah, I had to mature a little bit. Obviously, I'm a little late.
Don't we all?
So now, what sports did you play again? You said basketball.
So football. So basketball was sort of a city league, or organized locally. So we had we have the Niagara Falls Housing Authority on 10th Street over here, and we used to have what we call the old center, the Boys and Girls Club on Center. It's no longer there anymore. Some space right there anymore. A lot of sore spot for a lot of people, but I played basketball there, Biddy League. But my number one sport was football. Man, football all day.
Love football.
I mean, we used to have, I grew up in Unity Park, second court. So we used to have the Unity Park team, the center court team, the Jordan Garden team. Everybody used to bring their teams, and we had a big field. We used to play football in. So we played football with empty water bottles. So we just used to we just made stuff up. So we just played football. So imagine trying to play that with the wind blowing, play crazy tackle. Now we didn't play team football with the water bottle. We played crazy tackles. You throw the football up, whoever caught it.
It was like kill a man with the ball.
Right, exactly. Whoever got the water bottle, you had to score a touchdown back and forth. So that's what we did. So man, that's crazy. That's what we did. And then during the summertime, we would get it in with 007, Nintendo 64.
Yo, I used to play that too,
GoldenEye. We spent hours
That's
on
crazy. I remember we used to play that heavily too.
That was the game. We spent many summer nights. We'd play outside during the day, and then once it got dark, we went in and played Nintendo 64.
Yes, that's freaking interesting. I used to do the same thing. That's Anyway, what was your jersey number? Football 81?
Receiver number. It was a receiver number. That's my number one position. But it turned out I became a defensive specialist because everybody wants the ball in football. See me, I'm like, okay, y'all can have the ball. Somebody's got to play some defense. So I was a free safety.
Right.
And you can look up I was all Western New York, all academic.
Really? 81? This is a jersey?
81.
Free safety. That's crazy. That's crazy. See, I was a running back, wide receiver, and a DB. So I played corner and safety. But I love hitting people. Man. That was like my thing. But I love running back too. Running back was my favorite.
For sure. You can put a hit on people as running back too.
Right. Right. All right. So you graduate. You didn't run track or anything?
Yeah, I did track. Oh yeah, I did track. That was my second one. And I did track for longer than I did football because I started track in 7th grade. So I was a sprinter and jumper. So I did the 400 hurdles one time. Thought I was going to go to heaven. Thought I was going to die. I literally, it was crazy.
So, all right, quick story. So I ran track too, but I always thought that I was going to be a sprinter, but I realized I was not fast when I was a sophomore, right? So they were like, yeah, Sean, unfortunately, you can't be a sprinter. You're going to go and be a long distance runner. I'm like, long distance runner, so they put me in the 800, bro.
I was like,
so when we did the sprint medley relay, right? So that's like, I think it's the 4, 2, 2, and then the 800, I think it is, sprint medley. But anyway, I was the last one. We was in first place. I remember getting a baton. You need to know how to run a certain way when it comes to long distance. But I got the baton and I sprinted.
Booked out.
Right. I sprinted. We was in first place. I was like, I'm staying in first place. I sprinted. My coach came running down. Sean, slow down, slow down. And I'm like, what? I couldn't hear what he was saying. I was just running. I was, full of adrenaline. But I remember the finish line was like right there. And my legs were like just giving out. So I'm like, I couldn't even feel my legs. I just dove across the finish line, just like laid there. And then they call it bear on your back, something like that, because it feels like a bear is literally on your back. You can't even feel your legs.
Man.
But anyway, after that, needless to say, I trained all summer and winter to become a sprinter, and I was like one of the fastest kids in the city. Man, so it was a fun.
Learn. That's it. I mean, man, you just channel it. Man, that's
it was a fun time.
I didn't like going past 200. 200 meters. That was my I did once. You do the complimentary once around track because coach want to test your conditioning. Right. Conditioning, but I was 200 maximum. So and I did long jump and triple jump. So I love long jump. I love long jump and sprint, the 100 and the 4x1. Those are like
4x1s are great. Yeah.
So such a fun event to watch and to be in. Man. It's just
a lot of energy.
For that baton to come.
A lot of energy.
Boom, hit the mark, you start going. Oh man, I love it. Was
indoor is my favorite.
See, we never had indoor. I never had indoor till college.
Really?
I didn't know it existed. I'm like, I could have been outside. I was outside in the rain, in the cold, and we could have been indoor track.
Yeah, indoor is my favorite.
Man.
Okay, so you graduated from high school.
Graduated from high school. Spelling Bee champ. I was actually going back to
Spelling Bee champ.
I was in Spelling Bees. I was in Rainbow Academic Decathlons. I was in a lot, but still really was going back to who I was. I did everything, but really just was better in my lab, in my room, reading. That's where I spent most of my time in school. My family say, where that kid at? Now he back there in his room. I still hear it to this day. They're like, you just used to stay in your room, come out to eat, help out.
Really?
Yeah.
So what were you mostly reading?
Just either textbooks.
You were reading textbooks?
Yeah. Like whatever books they gave, whatever books we had in school, I was reading them.
Yeah, you were built different.
The math books, all the books that all you get recommended reading. I used to read Encyclopedia Brown, the Choose Your Adventure books.
Wow.
I just...
I pride myself on my vocabulary, right? I love study. I love reading as well. And one of the times is a contention point between you and I that happened during the summer. We were arguing over two words, Vincent and I, and it was germane and what was the other word?
I thought it was pertinent.
No, it was
germane and what was the other one? You're right.
Analogous.
Yes, that's the word.
It was analogous. And I remember I knew this word thoroughly. I'm like, he was telling me, no, you're using it in the wrong manner. Like analogous, you're supposed to say like if something was relatable to something else, like to say the brain is analogous to a computer.
Right.
And I'm like, no, you're wrong. You have no idea. It's the same thing as saying germane. It's germane to X, Y. But we was arguing back and forth. Needless to say, I was wrong. So now I'm very conscientious of like studying the word thoroughly. So I appreciate that. So you were into all that, and then you go to college, right? Am I missing anything? You had any girlfriend? Any distractions?
I was just a focused kid. I mean, definitely a girlfriend here for sure, but nothing. I mean.
You didn't go partying or anything?
Yeah, I wasn't a big partier. I mean, I would come to any party and be invited to it. I'm coming to have fun, but wasn't a big partier. Just wasn't.
Yeah. I know obviously you were social at some capacity.
For sure.
But most of the time you just like spending time to yourself studying.
Yeah. And also I had my PlayStation 2, the first
there
one.
You go.
The PlayStation.
What games you played? I remember my greatest game for PlayStation.
So the top games growing up, Sci-Fi Filter is like a spy game.
Yeah,
they had 1, 2, 3. It was a spy game, very detailed. You had to do certain missions. Probably one of my favorite games growing up. All the Marvel vs. Capcom, Marvel superheroes, all the fight button smasher games, and Final Fantasy VII.
Oh my God! Yes, I was going to say that. That was my number one game.
One of my favorite.
Cloud Sephiroth.
Exactly. And it had a character named Vincent, so how can I not?
Right. That's true.
The biggest sword in the game.
Right, that's true. Yeah, Vincent. He was the guy in the red coat, right? Because he was a vampire.
That was another. Could have been. There was another Vincent in another game. I don't think.
The thing is though, I literally nickname all my characters, so I really don't truly know who's who besides Cloud, Sephiroth, and that's it. That's it. I know this the girlfriend he had, the one that died.
I can't remember.
Started with an A, I think.
This was long. Yeah.
Tifa, I remember Tifa.
Okay, I remember the Chocobos. That's all I remember.
Chocobos, right? But it was that game. Final Fantasy VII kind of changed it for me philosophically.
Man.
Like I think that was like my moment as a child when I started thinking like differently. I was like, wow. Because it gives you the bad guy's perspective on things.
For sure.
So you looked up things objectively, and not just saying there's a bad guy and a good guy. You got the reasoning why people do what they did. And I was like, this is great. But then after that, Resident Evil.
Yeah, Resident Evil, that was another one. Yeah.
What was it? Which one was Resident Evil with Raccoon City? Is that
that's like
4? No.
It's all based in Raccoon City. But I do director's cut. That was the one, the director's cut.
It was when he was, what's the guy's name? The main character.
Yeah, Chris.
Chris
And his sister.
All right, he was running through the city. He goes to the prison. He was the main character, and it was like Ada. Ada was in it too. I think it was 4.
Because I'm relating all the movies now. I just think of all the movies because they all follow the.
They sucked. That movie sucked. The movies ruined the franchise. I swear to God they did. But anyway, because it became more action based, and it was this chick that was just kicking every zombie, flipping off of walls. You weren't even able to do that in the game, bro. I was like, it made no sense. Anyway, so you was stuck in your room playing PlayStation. I was a PlayStation guy until Xbox came out.
See, I switched to. No, it's always PlayStation. Never mind. Yeah.
See, because I was like, I got
Halo.
into Halo.
Halo. Yeah. See, I never got into it.
That's what sucked me in Halo. I was like, once I played Halo, it was over after that.
Man.
Okay. Back to real life. So now you're going off to college. What college did you go to, and why did you pick that college?
So the day I was going to college, because I went right after high school, already was planning on it, because in high school, I got this formulation, sitting with my counselor, who's, sports, football. I definitely wanted to go pro. Of course I wanted to go pro.
Right, same.
Of course, how do you not want to go pro? Because I wanted to have my own touchdown dance. Literally, the reason why I wanted to go pro, I wanted to have my own touchdown dance.
Anybody, if you ever seen Vincent dance, this guy can freaking dance. I got to give it. He surprised me the first time I seen him dance. I was like, this dude can really move, bro.
Man,
you know that's gonna be a clip, right? I'm gonna use the videos I got.
Go for it. I do it because I would see the Icky Shuffle, the Caterpillar dance by Morton Hanks. You had the Mile High Salute. You had Deion Sanders doing his dance.
Yeah.
You had Cha Cha with Victor Cruz. I'm like, I want to have my own dance.
Yeah.
What it was gonna be, I don't know. When I scored the touchdown, I have no idea. When I scored the touchdown, that's what I was gonna do. Who knows if I'd have did Michael Jackson Thriller, the MC Hammer? No idea. I just said I want to create my own touchdown.
If you could pick a team, an NFL team you can go to and play, what team would that have been?
It would be any team with a dome.
Oh my God. You gotta pick a team, bro. All right, which team with a dome?
So back then it would have been the Cowboys, of course. It would have been the Cowboys.
Are you a Cowboys fan?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I'm an Eagles fan, so there goes a contention right there too.
That would be. It's all good. I give respect is due.
Right.
They crushed it on the Super Bowl. When they won the Super Bowl, I knew they were going to win. Like, who was going to stop them winning that Super Bowl? Nobody.
Yeah.
So we were talking. So in school, so the day, and it's just to give more of who I was, because coming into high school and going into college. So number one was the football. I wanted to do pro, but you can't. And my kind of say, hey, look at this guy. He's doing football, and it was Rod Smith. He was doing, if I remember correctly, he was doing football, but he had his own real estate business outside of that, doing the rest of the year. Because you can't play football forever, and if you get hurt, what are you gonna fall back on?
Right, and especially in a time where a lot of NFL players are going broke after
exactly.
Football.
So he was doing real estate, and I said I wasn't gonna do real estate, but I started thinking, what could I turn into a business? So math and science, let's turn that into a business somehow, and that's how I chose engineering, because I wanted to eventually open up my own contracting firm or my own contracting design business of some sort.
So you was thinking about this in high school?
In high school, for sure. And then the politics side of it, there was a day, I never forget this day, because I'm pretty sure everybody remembers this day. So I am in my senior year. I go to class, and I see my teacher looking up at the TV screen just in disbelief, shock, just everything on his face, and he's staring at the TV, just shaking his head like this, and I look at the TV, and I'm like, and I asked him, "Is that real?" And he was like, "Yeah, that's real." And then I see his fire, just this building's on fire, and I'm like, "This is crazy." And then the other plane hits, and I'm like, "Is this fake? Is this real?" And he's like, "Yeah, this is it." And that was obviously 9/11, and then I remember students in the classroom crying because they had family in New York City. And I'm just like, is this, like, what are we, like, what? And then we're watching TV, because this is government and participation class. Of all classes, this is when I first see it. So it's like government 101 for, in high school. And then I see the president, with the kids, the screenshot of this scene of him with the kids, and the Secret Service person comes into his ear, whispers something, And he just has this look on his face. And at that moment, I'm 17 years old. And I said, man, I want to be the person that receives that information. Like, I want to know what was said and be the one that can do something with that information.
Right.
And I'm just thinking at 17 years old. So that sort of, I would love history, but that sort of gets me on this track of down the line, not knowing anything, just politics, just getting into the political sphere of it. So going into college, I had three things on my mind: politics, business, and sports.
Mm-hmm.
So how do I just applying to schools, just trying to stay local, but not trying to go out of town, because to me, I didn't care where I went to school. If it's a good school, it's a good school. Give me a degree, because I want to go into business. I want to learn some skills, some technical information, so I can turn it into a business. That's what I was thinking today. But it turns out my teacher recommended me apply to RIT, Rochester Institute of Technology. So I get accepted there. Great school. If it wasn't for the scholarships and all that, definitely wouldn't have made it at that school, wouldn't have been able to pay for that school. So I go to that school, and that's where in those 4 or 5 years, because we did 4 years of education and then did a year of co-ops, sort of paid internships. And also going to RIT, I met a friend, and that's how I developed my that's the spiritual foundation started in college, and that's how I chose RIT. That's how I ended up going to RIT.
Nice. So you say spiritual foundation started in college. Well, tell me about that experience.
For sure. So again, I'm in a cafeteria in the main mess hall. I call it the mess hall.
What year is this for
This
you?
is 2002.
But are you a sophomore?
Freshman.
Okay.
Freshman year of college. So first year in college, I grew up watching shows like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Saved by the Bell, Family Matters. All these cultural shows. Spider-Man, the cartoon, the '90s cartoon that just showed just all students just talking, meeting in a different world. Going way back then in the late '80s, early '90s. Kids in college, just everybody meeting everybody. Everybody just meet everybody.
Right.
You had Do the Right Thing with Spike Lee.
Mm-hmm.
And you just had all these other fraternity movies, Revenge of the Nerds, all these fraternity movies where people just meeting people. It seemed to be the thing to do. But yeah, I was in college, so I'm in the main mess hall. I'm sitting at my table in the cafeteria by myself, eating lunch, and two students come up, and we just start. They come up to me, they meet me, and we just start talking. Just two. They were sophomores. I was a freshman, so they come up, they meet me, we start talking, and then one of them, we develop an even deeper relationship, and I end up being in his wedding. Still cool today.
Nice.
But through that friendship, I get connected, and the next thing we get to a conference, like a big conference, and we're at this Sunday morning service, a non-denominational Sunday morning service.
So are you a Christian at this time?
I didn't know nothing about church. Going back to childhood, we were a family that would celebrate Christmas and Easter, and you would ask me, why are we celebrating this?
I had no idea.
No idea.
Right.
Didn't know why. We got 2 weeks off from school.
Right, like most Americans.
2 weeks from school for Christmas,
right.
2 weeks for school for Easter, and that's all we knew. We put up the Christmas tree, did the Easter bunny. I had the Easter Sunday outfit. Didn't go to church, didn't care about church. Lived across the street from the church at St. John's forever. Never went inside there this whole time. I'm 20 years old, 19 years old at this meeting them, but then 20 years old when, I'm at this conference. So didn't care about church, didn't want to know about it. It just was nothing. Was nothing. So, so I ended up at this conference, invited me, Sunday morning, and, I'm 20 years old, don't know nothing about church, about Jesus, about God, nothing. So there's a speaker just giving what I look back on was the gospel. He just tell about God's principles, God's ways, and he talked about the crucifixion of Jesus, the whole story about the thorns and the nails, and he offered to you think about Billy Graham, and you think about all these other big conferences where hundreds of people are coming forth, and I happened to be, it just ended up in one of those. Didn't know what it was until I started researching back then. Afterwards, like, oh, that's
So hold on. So the guys that introduced you to this, that brought you there, were they Christians?
Catholics, I would say.
Okay, so they were already, they had some type of faith.
And
they were just they brought you along into
right,
that. Okay.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
I went from this all was happening in Rochester.
Right.
And then I came back to Niagara Falls
Mhm.
and then went to church. So everything that this man was saying was just clicking on all the year and a half, 2 years of stuff that I've been diving into. And I'm just like, man, this is it. So I'm like, here we go. So then I become a member of the church and I get the contemporary English version of the Bible. So it's just a real intro start to the Bible, the whole Old Testament, New Testament. So I start reading that. And yeah, and that's just been I've been with the church and 20 years now, and what a journey has been. And
So-
no day has been the same since.
Okay. Now you are, as you say, you're in Rochester at RIT, but there's times you come back to Niagara Falls.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
I used to work here. I used to work at Denny's.
Really
Yeah, I used to work at Denny's during the summertime as a
interesting.
waiter
So-
and dishwasher.
So wow. All right, yo, bro, it's crazy. We have a lot of synchronization. So you're at RIT. You come back here to Niagara Falls, right? Back and forth. What is the state of Niagara Falls during this time? Because I spoke to John Cooper, who went to Afghanistan, came back, and he said Niagara Falls resembled Afghanistan. I asked the same thing to Jeff Flagg. Jeff Flagg was in the Army. He says when he was in third world country, he came back here, a lot of resemblance. What do you, and I know RIT is not that far away,
Right. But far enough.
but far enough.
Far
So what is your perspective on Niagara Falls as you continuously come back and forth?
So I would see things pop up, but overall nothing changing and going down, if you will. Because I mean, where I grew up now on Unity Park, it don't even exist anymore. There's nothing there. There's just trees and weeds and brush. So I would see that kind of stuff going on, but then I would see stuff happening downtown Niagara Falls. So we hear about, the casino, because casino was opened in 2002, 2003, sort of my first year of school. So I would come back and hear about this casino that's opened up. I would hear about these things, but the overall of the city just going down to me. And that's all I've seen in 40 years. So that's what I would see. I would come back in, see flashes of this business popping up, of that business popping up.
Potential.
You see a kernel, a popcorn kernel here, a popcorn kernel here, but overall, just going down.
Right. So, well, I guess this is a good transition to figure out how did you get into politics,
Yeah.
right? And why did you get involved in politics?
Gotcha.
So you graduate college.
Yep.
You're not in politics now.
Nope.
Okay.
Not even a thought.
Okay.
Not even a thought.
Okay. So when did it become a thought then?
So 2007, May 2007, I graduated from RIT. I didn't get a job in Rochester School. That's how far I was not thinking about Niagara Falls politics. I was thinking if I got a job in Rochester, I would have stayed in Rochester and would have been working there, would have been
Right.
up and running. I'd have started my business and going, but nothing happened. No job, no position. So the easiest thing to do was to come back home and I moved back in with my mom for a couple months, a year until I got a full-time job. As soon as that happened, boom, I hit the ground running. I get my own apartment and I hit the ground running 2007, 2008, and I'm off and running in a workaday world. So again, no one knew who I was besides my family and a couple friends. I'm just in the workaday world for years. I mean, politics, not in my mind. I'm actually focused on business, entrepreneurship. I'm doing get an online business going because again, my business was still on the forefront of my mind because I wanted to be able to control my own time, control my own schedule. If you know me, I'm a night owl. I love staying up late. I love late mornings, so I didn't want to wake up early. Didn't want to wake up early doing the whole 9 to 5 thing. But so business was still on the forefront, but I'm still working the normal job and just doing that, just in the everyday workaday world until 2020 hits, and I'm thinking, what is going on here?
Mm-hmm.
And then, because my first foray into anything local, I mean, I would do the youth ministry at Mount Sinai, so I got involved with that. I started, mentoring kids, doing that kind of deal. But in terms of politics, I started getting in when I heard about this thing called COVID. And I'm thinking, I heard the main thing that came out of 2020 was the education of the kids, because parents started staying at home with their kids, and kids started getting schooling from home, and I started hearing all this crazy stuff because I always loved current events, again, history, current events. I stayed, started hearing that stuff, podcasts and everything, but I'm thinking, what is going on with our education system, and are we really teaching this stuff in my own hometown? Because I was in a public education, Niagara Falls Board of Education. I grew up public school, all that stuff. And I had I would put my education going into RIT up against any education, in the country. And I'm thinking, is this degradation going on in Niagara Falls? So first thing I did locally was going to Niagara Falls Board of Education meetings. That was the first thing. So I started attending those. I even started speaking at those, just giving my input as far as, what's going on with the kids. Let's get back to math and science and not all this other nonsense that's going out there. Let's get back to math, science, reading and writing, literacy, competency.
Yeah.
Let's do the basics. Before we start trying to throw alley-oops, let's learn how to dribble with our right hand, and let's learn how to dribble with our left hand, and let's learn how to put it through our legs, and let's get back to basics.
Right.
So that was my key point was of Board of Education.
Got it. So you were saying, hey, listen, let's not obviate from the fundamentals. Right. Because now you see this exacerbation happening right now. Exacerbations happening in Niagara Falls, where the status is going down and down and down. And you feel like you're obligated to get up there and speak on behalf of the kids.
Yeah.
Were you nervous? Were you excited? Like who? Because I know you said you're an introvert, right? But you never mentioned any time when you was out public speaking, things of nature. So was this your first time doing it?
First time. I mean, I would do, obviously I did the spelling bee. That's not really speaking. I would have these, I remember at RIT, it's probably still on, I did an interview at RIT when I was on the track team. But in terms of like speaking to this, no, first time doing it. So that was just, definitely nervous. Didn't know what I was going to say, but knew I've always had the passion, if not borderline anger or righteous indignation. I would never use anger because I never literally get angry, but it's a righteous indignation. Like when I see something that's wrong, man, I have no problem speaking out to it. So, and again, this was what I was seeing out. Just to clarify, I was seeing this because I went to this Board of Education meetings not knowing what was going on in Niagara Falls school system, but it's what I heard in the state and in the country. So I'm just going to these education meetings to find out what we're teaching, what we're doing in Niagara Falls, as opposed to what I'm hearing in the country. So, so I just show up there, and that was one of the first things, I meet other people there, but I just say, man, I gotta just speak out on this. Definitely nervous, didn't know what I was gonna say, didn't know how they were gonna take it, but I just knew I was genuine with it. I was coming from real information because as long as I have facts, as long as I have stories that's inside, whether you know them or not, as long as I know them and they're real, man, I'll speak out about anything in the world.
Got it.
So
then how did you get from that to joining a particular party?
For sure.
Yeah, and then how also you decided to pick that party?
For sure. So when I didn't get my license till I was 20. So whenever I registered, for me, from history, thought process, values, growing up, whenever I registered, and to me, I think I registered at 18 from somewhere, I always registered with the Republican Party. There was just never a question, never a thought, never a debate, never a scenario where I was like, man, who do I register with? It was always the Republican Party.
But why?
So as I go back, as I take you back when I was 18, again, I was that kid. Because people always hear, there's always however many percent of kids, 10%, 15% of kids that are going to succeed in school no matter what, no matter their socioeconomic background, no matter their environment. I had a vision for my life. I knew it. I'll put it this way. When you start a puzzle, you always start by looking at the box to see what you're going to do. To me, I had that box at a young age. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew where I wanted to go. I knew what I wanted to succeed.
So you had it mapped out.
I had it in my mind where I wanted to go, and now it was just a matter of dialing in where I need to do specifically. So, so going back to 18 years old, registering to vote, initiative, do it yourself, independent, hard work. To me, I just know, freedom. That was just the Republican Party to me. Their values was just where it was at. So I already had that at 18 years old.
What would you say to people who get like turned off by that? And I don't want to jump off track, but I think it's important too because a lot of people in our community, because I was born Democrat, bro, right? So, but as I became more of a conscious individual and an adult, I was like, yeah, these align more with my value systems, right? Faith, family, self-responsibility, those are more relevant in the Republican Party, and that's why I joined. But what would you say to people that says, hey, well, the Republican Party is racist? Well, how can you, as a black man, how can you join the Republican Party?
So then we got to start with the history of why and how these parties came to be. And this is definitely can go down this, I definitely have no problem, but it's just going down the history of why. Because most people also tell you, like, oh, Vincent, well, don't you know the party switched? History is more complex than that. Mm-hmm. And this is where you have to get into, well, who voted for this? What party were they from?
Right.
We talk about the Civil War, the North and the South, the freedom versus the Confederacy. And people get into all that. And it's a very complicated scenario. But when you look at the basics and the bones, and even today, I could talk to anybody about any subject and not get all personal, emotional.
Right. I've seen you in action. You're good. You're good at that. You have that's a skill. I'll just call it that. It's a real good skill because I get frustrated easily. But go ahead, continue.
No, because part of that is if we get down to education, information, and having a true discussion about who stands for who, because not all Republicans are the same, not all Democrats are the same, not all black people are the same, not all this are the same. Everybody's not uniform. But who's pushing uniformity? Who's pushing conformity?
Right.
Versus who's pushing freedom? Mm-hmm. Who's pushing independence? Yeah. Who's pushing you being self-sufficient? We're going to depend on each other. And back then, if I had cows and you had chickens, we can come to an agreement saying, hey, for your cow, I'll give you 20 chickens. Barter system. Mm-hmm. It's having that. You're a specialist. I have my thing. Let's come together, have an agreement, depend on each other for a better goal, for a greater goal of success.
Right. Okay, so you picked the Republican Party. How did you transition from the school board meetings to being in the Republican meetings?
So that's also just, it's continuing, it's a thread of a journey of just saying, because again, back at RIT in Rochester, I just kept saying, man, I got to come home. Even though I was looking for a job in Rochester, to me, my heart was coming back home and building my city through entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. That was a driving motive. How can I move? How can I even leave? How can I leave how can I leave my city? How can I leave my state knowing that it's just going down and it could be a lot better than what it's doing? So I come back home, that's always been a heartbeat, making my city better. Coming back home, never forget where you came from. Well, I didn't. I wanted to help, but not just forget never forget. Right. I wanted to help it.
Right.
If I can't help my own city, how can I go somewhere else and help? Right. So that was through entrepreneurship. But as I saw, there was a mindset that had sunk in, an attitude that had sunk in Niagara Falls, that was the main thing.
Yeah.
So as I'm going through the Board of Education, as I'm going through these meetings, I'm talking to my family, talking to people, I realize that the way to do it there's been a political weight through our elected leaders throughout the decades. Not all of them, but obviously a majority of them. Right. Going back to when you had Hooker Chemical, we had all these chemical plants, and we transitioned from those World War II type companies, those abrasive chemical companies,
right.
And we never transitioned and never became and never evolved to what's our next identity going to be.
Right.
So the way to do that, from my perspective, from all the history that I've studied, European history, world history, American history, the history of Niagara Falls. The way to do that, the way to really get in there, for my position. Not everybody needs to run for office. Let me just make sure we understand that. Everybody doesn't need to run for county, city, state, board. Not everybody needs to do that.
Right.
But for me personally, my best fit was getting into politics. So, and let's flash back to when I was 17 years old. So I said, man, I got to get involved in a political scene. So I was already a Republican. So I said, let me get into and start working with and start getting behind the scenes of the Republican Party. And then through that process, an opening came up where he happened to be the chairman, but a current Republican city councilman was retiring, stepping down, and that opened up a position for somebody to go, not a full-blown campaign, but a microcosm campaign of talking to people, getting out there, meeting people to show people that I am deserving of this position over somebody else.
Okay. So how was that experience for you? Like, because you're new to the party, I'm assuming at this time. Are you like the only young black person there? So and I don't like to make things about race. I really try to eschew from doing that.
Yep.
But how are you? What's your mental like? Like, what is this experience? Because this is an esoteric experience. Not everybody gets the opportunity to experience something like this. So, what is your experience? How are you feeling during this time frame? A position opens up, and you're like, "Man, I'm going to take it."
Right.
Okay. So, what are you thinking?
For sure, I can take you back. I remember sitting with the executive committee and just being Vincent. I mean, that's just really when I say my key hallmarks is authenticity, genuineness, and fighting for the people.
Right.
That's what I brought to this opening meeting about this. And, they're getting to know me. And we're sitting here talking. It was just me and them. And, I just laid out my history, how I even got there. And again, let me just make sure that everybody understands. Before this whole process, I knew none of these people. None of them. Mm-hmm. I was in Buffalo. Let me just go back to, I was in Buffalo attending protests there about this whole COVID thing. Because I was not in Niagara Falls politics. I was in Buffalo because I knew more people who were engaged in Buffalo there than I did here. So I got a name and a number from somebody in Buffalo. Because I went up to him. He was passionate. He was involved in politics. And I'm like, man, let's bring this to my home city. Mm-hmm. So I said, how do I get this? How do I do this in Niagara Falls? He gave me one name and one number. And with that, I just kept pulling on a thread. And then I ended up with the Republican Party, ended up becoming a member there, and ended up before this executive board. I wasn't in front of them because I wanted to run for office. I was in front of them because I was becoming part of the party, just getting to know the people.
Right.
But then from that, they mentioned
opportunity came
up. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So I said, yes, let me put my name in a hat for that. So, believe it or not, it was a normal thing of politics to me. Right. I hear all this stuff. I hear this, I hear that. I'm just one of those people just.
Yes. So it's just for you. It's part of the journey. It's like within alignment to everything you wanted to do anyway.
Exactly.
Going back to you being a senior in high school in that moment with George Bush, this is just a correlation.
Correlation to that. I mean, I knew how dirty politics can be. I knew how inflamed, whether it was identity politics, race. I know all this stuff, but I just don't give it life because I just want people. Hey, are we going to judge people by the content of their character or by the color of their skin?
Right.
So I just never used that, never went that route, never ever said it, don't say it, but I know it's there. I'm not
naive.
Not naive.
Right.
It's just, I just don't give it life for me.
Right.
I can't speak for nobody else, and I'm not trying to put this on anybody else. This is just me.
Right. Okay, so you get the position.
There were 15 or 16 other people that wanted it.
Really?
Yeah. There were people, I threw my name in, and then other people wanted it because it's an easy way to get in there. You don't have to campaign. You don't have to knock on doors. You don't have to do any of this stuff.
So this is like in-house campaigning.
In-house campaigning.
Right.
I'm campaigning to the Republican Party.
Right. Okay. So 15 other people wanted it. You ultimately received it.
Yep.
Right. How was that experience being on city council for the first time? Right. So this is essentially your first time running too.
Technically.
Right. So now you're on city council. What's going on at the time? What are you doing good and what are you doing bad?
So I'll start with the good. Listening, because people have been around decades. They know the stuff. They know the history of Niagara Falls. They know the political history. They know the economic history. And I just ask people questions. So what I do good, I ask questions and listen. What I do bad, as you go back to some of the videos. Was I a little hot-headed? Probably. Could I have been less hot-headed? Yeah. But do I take back anything? No. Because that's 100% Vincent. You look at those videos, calmer, tamed, reserved, but still, I'm here to ask questions. Right. Because the job of a city councilman, you can relate that to city council, to a legislative body. We are the number one investigators. We're in charge of where the money is spent, how it's being spent, why it's being spent, and where is it being, what is it being spent on, and is it providing the service and products for the people? Right.
Okay, so now there comes a time where you actually have to campaign.
For sure.
Walk us through what happens.
So that first year of city council, amazing. Behind the scenes, because even I always loved seeing how things are made against, hence engineering, how things are made, how things are built, how things come together, whether it's movies, cartoons, stories, everything. I mean, I bought the whole 9-disc Matrix series because I love seeing how it was made. So I just love, especially when it's something I'm really interested in. Right. I dig deep into it. So
same.
So exactly. So I get behind the scenes. I start seeing what's going on, and I know we can change this city for the better. No question. I get more hope. People are like, oh, did you get more depressed and more downtrodden getting behind the scenes? No, I got more invigorated, more inspired to like, man, we can do this now. I'm just thinking we can do this. We can change this city faster than anybody can imagine. Just being behind the scenes and just seeing, what's going on. So, and how many people care about the city and want to help the city. And so that first year was learning. Just learning, meeting people. Again, I knew no one in Niagara Falls in politics. I mean, so not connected to anybody. Just one man said, "Let's do it." So I get in there. I'm on the council, learning about agenda items, making votes, taking the heat from making certain votes. But I love the heat. People understand me. I shouldn't tell people this, but I love the heat. Bring it on.
Right. Yeah, I'm the same way.
Let's go.
I got to chill though. But anyway, go ahead. See, it's cool to take the heat when you're in there. Right? It's a different, and then also there's different types of heats.
It is.
Right.
Exactly. If I'm taking a principled stand.
Right. It's different.
It's different.
Well, I take principled stands too, but again, there are. Anyway, we're never gonna get into this. We'll talk about that later. You already know what I'm talking about. I don't want anybody else to know. But anyway, continue.
So first year was a lot of learning, a lot of eye-opening things, no doubt about it. Meeting people, just understanding what's been going on. Because before that, I will always ask people, what happened in Niagara Falls? How did Niagara Falls get the way it is? How did we go from honeymoon capital of the world to where we are now? How do we, all the devastation and the dilapidation of houses from 100,000 to half the population. Just asking those questions, just understanding what people are thinking, what people think, and what is their opinion of how we got here and how do we get out. So to me, politics was just the natural way to go for me in terms of being involved and getting part of that ecosystem to make the change happen. So here I am. I'm in the city council now. And it's everything I thought of and more. So I'm like, I get that appetizer. You go, you get your onion ring appetizer, your blooming onion appetizer. You're like, man, I can't wait for the steak. So I run in 2023. I lose. I come in third and there were 2 seats open. So I come in third, lost. So I'm not on the council anymore. But like I said, immediately, you can look at my Facebook post, I said, I will be back in 2025. The day after I knew I lost. 'Cause I remember that night, we're looking at the votes coming in, and I see, not feeling the momentum, not feeling the vibe in the room that I'm in. We were at the Elks, and I'm like, okay, this is, my first election night. This is good. I'm like, okay, seeing the numbers come in, not coming in, what I expected, but I'm still jovial, still happy. I'm like, it is what it is. So I knocked on all the doors, which was my favorite part of the campaign, knocking on doors. Yeah.
What do you believe your reason for losing was?
Just not enough time to meet the people. My official campaign, I officially started campaigning in July. The election was in November.
Yeah, that's late. July.
Dude, that's late.
That is crazy
It's
late.
late.
That's crazy. Why did you start so late?
Because I didn't know nothing. I say that being funny. I didn't know anything. Like again, I was so obviously working a full-time job, trying to learn council, trying to learn the behind the scenes of a campaign, trying to meet people. I took on I'm just going to not toot my own horn, but I brought on a lot to myself in that year. And I had just become a deacon in 2022. So now I'm learning that process. There was no question. And still trying to do the business thing. So and with everything else, there was a lot. And I still take on a lot. And I have no regrets whatsoever doing that. But I just didn't know what I didn't know.
Right.
So.
Interesting.
Just started in July. And when I say officially started in July, I officially started knocking on doors in July.
Wow. Okay.
Why did I lose? In my opinion, not enough people knew who I was in general, and then knew who I really was. Because even the people who voted for me, they probably like, let's give him a shot. I don't know him, new face, new energy. Seems kind of crazy, but let's give him a shot. Let's give him a shot. But now they understand my campaign that I campaigned back then. I just, again, trajectory just kept going. I did change, but I didn't have to change who I was. Right. I just stayed consistent.
Right. Okay. So you promise you'll be back.
Yep.
2025, November 4th.
Yep.
You and I, same location.
Yep.
Different outcomes. I remember looking at you, and I was like, this guy, like I just had this innate feeling you were going to win. But I remember looking at you. You had the same certainty as well. Like it was just, this guy was just moving around confidently. Like he's been here before, which you have, right? And it showed how much hard work. And I've been with you a couple times when, door knocking and what have you. So how indefatigable you were, right? Like you didn't need a big crew. You didn't need anything fancy. You literally knock on doors, got to know people one-on-one, had conversations. And I remember saying to myself, while knocking on doors with you one time, I actually have this on camera. This dude was speaking to one resident for about 30 minutes. I was like, ain't no way this guy gonna win. If he's doing this with everybody, it's no way, unless you got all the time in the world. But it was a chick. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah,
I think it was Niagara Ave.
I do. I remember exactly.
Yeah, but I remember filming. I'm like, this dude, ain't no way this guy's about to be here you literally talked to her the whole time. But anyway, the results came back. You was a top vote getter for the city council, and now you're back in office. Congratulations, bro.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
No, seriously, I'm proud of you. Like you did your thing.
It means a lot. Love it.
Now, how do you feel now that you're back in action?
So excited. I mean, it's beyond excited just to get back in for a full 4-year term and have the people behind me. I mean, you look at the results and you look at the numbers. I mean, it was a citywide approval. I mean, not the two. I'm just giving you numbers. You can look up the numbers.
You beat me in the 4th district. I'm running for the 4th district as Leslie. He beats me in my own district. So yeah, kudos to you for sure.
Man, and it was just the steady drumbeat. Nothing fancy, because I'm not a fancy guy. It just was the steady drum. I was a drummer. I know how to keep a beat. So it was just a steady drumbeat of after work every day. I would just go out there on the weekends. I'd go to any community meetings. I mean, what I did, there was nothing special to what I did, and I'm not no one special, just hard work. And but I'm excited to be back in there for a full 4-year term. Not to worry about running for an election the same year now. So and just to settle in. I'm definitely different now. I definitely know more. Same person, just know more.
Right.
Know more people, got the experience now, and just continuing that trajectory that I promised back then. Because I put out an article that I did as an interview, and that same article still applies today. Why? Because I haven't changed. The mission is still the same. I'm just better tactically, better strategically, know more people, and just keep it going.
Got it. Right. So, and one of the things we experienced recently, you had your town hall meeting.
Yes.
That was a great turnout.
Yes.
I think stuff like that is imperative when you talk about pushing for a better city, better community, because now people are able to open up and have a dialogue, and it doesn't have to be this extremely formal government thing.
Right.
It's just something that the city, the community gets to come together and have a conversation with you at the helm of it.
Exactly, and that's all I wanted. Because I said no gavel, no time limit, no subject limit. You're gonna have as much time as you want to speak, and it turns out how it ended up happening was nothing like how I envisioned it in my mind. So it actually became even better. It just became a discussion, an open-ended, open-flowing discussion about what was on people's minds, and that's what I just loved it. And I got some action items from it, and it's just gonna keep building that snowball, just keep building momentum up. We'll fine tune it, we'll tweak it, we'll make it better, but I just love the discussion aspect of it.
Love it. Now, what are you doing now that is going to be different? What are you planning on implementing in City Council that's going to be overall advantageous for the city? And then also, what are your steps afterwards?
So, government, let's just go back to my whole government philosophy, first of all, because I go back to Republican conservatism. I am for limited government, because the bigger government gets, the smaller people get as an individual.
Right.
Because the government can just run over you because they have the resources, they have the time, they have the power and authority and everything to that nature. So it's easy to spend money. Easy for the government to spend money. Easy to come up with programs to spend money. My focus in the first half, maybe the first year of this, is to get a handle on the money that's being spent and where is it going. Because my 4 questions are, where is the money going? Why is it going there? What are we getting for it? And has the previous money been spent towards this project? Has that been spent on what it was supposed to be spent on? With those 4 questions, we can start getting a handle of how come this hasn't been done?
Right.
How come that hasn't been done? Where's the money? Follow the money. So that's my focus for this first few months, first part of my term, first year of that. And we got a good chemistry. We have good people on there on the city council that I think we're going to create a good team. But the millions of dollars, for example, we have a program that has about $20 million to our city market, $30 million to the other areas surrounding the city market, $50 million to Niagara Falls. Just this one program, $50 million. Shouldn't we see something with that?
Right, 100%.
Shouldn't there be some improvements?
Right. Wait, so that's already been implemented?
That's already, as we speak, already being implemented. And it has been for 2 years now.
Get the hell out of here. 2 years?
Maybe a year and a half.
Okay, but still. It's been there and...
It's been there. That's the kind of stuff that's what I'm on.
Where is it?
That's what I'm on. I'm gonna support our council people and get new programs in, spending money. But to me, I'm not here to spend money yet.
Right.
I mean,
where's the money at?
Where's the money at right now?
Right, that we already spent.
So you may not see too many. I may do a couple committees to find out where this stuff is going. So I may not do too many. I'll support legislation. I may not do too many new programs. I don't want new programs right now.
Right.
The money is being spent. My job is, what is it being spent on?
Right.
And where is it going and who's getting it?
Love that.
So that's what you're going to see in this first 6 months to a year.
Okay. So what is a plan like? Is city council like your focus? Do you have any plans on doing anything grander?
For sure. I have no doubt telling people in 2 years, there's a mayor's race. I will be throwing my name in the hat for that. No question. No question.
Got it. 2 years? Wait,
2027, actually.
Yeah, 27.
So year and a half, technically.
Right,
so there's
right.
November 2027, we have a mayor's race coming up.
Wow. So you're planning on running for mayor?
I plan on running for mayor.
So what would you say to those that, because city council is a 4-year term,
It is.
what would you say to those that, listen, like, you have to prove yourself,
I do.
city council-wise, before running for mayor?
I do. But I'm going to let the people decide that. I'm going to let the people, because this is not a power thing. This is not an ego thing. This is not a title thing. This is not any of that. This is a engineering solution. I see a problem. I want to fix the problem. And I want to put myself in the best position on the way, creating a new city council atmosphere, help participate with the new city council, because we cannot let our legislative branch become wholly a subsidiary of the executive branch.
Right.
We have separate branches of government for a reason.
Right.
If you combine those two branches, you
There's
get
no
a king.
checks. Yeah, there's no checks and balances.
You get a king.
Right.
No checks and balances.
Right.
Separation of power. So I start with the legislative branch, because once we get a hold of the spending and the budget and the accountability and the oversight and the transparency, then I shift over to the mayor's race, to the executive branch, where if we get our city council and our mayor together, but not just together for the sake of singing Kumbaya, together with an agenda that's focused on the residents.
Right.
On making Niagara Falls great, making it better, on capitalizing on what we have. You get those 6 individuals moving forward, we can change the city faster than anybody could ever imagine.
I agree 100%. All right, Vincent, any last words? Anything you want to inform the people about?
Please stay tuned. You can reach me. I got social media. I got 3 social media accounts. So I got my personal page, I got my official city councilman page, and I got my campaign official page. I got my website, which I'm a one-man band, so give me some slack.
Give me some grace.
It's Vincent Cauley 4nfny.com. So check there for updates. I'll try to update as much as I can. And you can call me. My number is out there. Please feel free to reach out. I'm not that hard to find. I want people to know I'm accessible.
Right.
I'm out there. I'm here. Please stay tuned for any town halls, any meetings. Come to city council meetings. And if you don't want to come to city council meetings, catch them on live, our school channel.
Well, I appreciate you, everything that you do. I know that you can always tell when somebody is truly about that life. And I can tell you're truly about serving this community. And that's why I align with you so well. So, Godspeed. God bless you, bro. And again, continued success. And I'm here for you.
I appreciate this platform to come on and do what you're doing and participate in what you're doing. So look forward to seeing what you got in the future for Niagara Falls as well. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, bro.
Thank you.
Right. My man.